Good morning, Leslie. Good evening, Charito.
Good morning.
Good evening, Michael and Leslie.
Evening. Dr. Ash is just joining. Hello, Dr. Ash. I hope you're
Good
visible to
evening.
join us, but we will start now. So let me switch the camera off, or after I make the greeting. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the next Industry 5.0 Power of Touch, in which I ride with the members of my global family on the back of language towards wasteless world. And today we do it with the word sweet. 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 Let me switch the camera off to save the data. Leslie, I have you on the top of my screen. So what first came to your mind when you hear that the term will be sweet?
Well, the first thought was, I guess, candy, because I have a very favorite candy, which is dark chocolate with coconut, with the real sweetness on a little bit more thought is the faces of my grandchildren when they were first born. When I see them now, they're 17, 18, 20, and 20. But I still see the sweet baby faces that I first saw when they were born. And that has never changed. As they've changed, they're all still sweet to me. Thank you, Michael. Great talk today.
Thank you very much, Leslie. Charito, you are the next one. So when you hear sweet, what came first to your mind, please?
Can you hear me,
Yes,
Michael?
we can hear you clear.
Good evening, Dr. Ash, Leslie, and Michael. I'm rushing from the streets. Actually, uh, when I heard about sweet, what comes up to my mind is like it's a taste. What, in fact, for me, it's of all the tastes that we have as humans, sweet is something that I really love. I don't like the bitter and all those things, the bland, whatever. Sweet also, when I hear about the word sweet, it's like Leslie, the candies, cakes, food. Food, it's like honey. I'm taking honey every day. And it's like sugar. But then sweet could also be something pleasant. It's charming or cheerful. Sweet smile, it's something that, you know, fills up the senses and inspire people looking at you if you're sweet and smiling. Sweet hope, probably is there hope which is not sweet. Sweet love, wow. When you have romance, that's sweet. The sweetest part of love. Well, so many things, but at the moment, that's the only thing I have. Okay, back to you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Charito. Dr. Ash, what came to your mind when you hear that the term will be sweet today?
Um, Good afternoon to all of you all from Pakistan, where we are having some sweet talks starting tomorrow onwards, hopefully, which will bring much peace to the world. And so, therefore, that is the sweetness in my mind at present. Sweet is normally associated with food. Obviously, it is one of the most universally loved sensations experienced by humans. From the first state, should I say that when a baby is born, the first taste of milk in infancy to the enjoyment of desserts later in life, sweetness is closely tied to comfort, pleasure, and satisfaction. It is one of the five basic tastes alongside sour, salty, bitter, and is often associated with energy-rich foods. Natural sources of sweetness include fruits, honey, and certain vegetables, of course, while refined sugar is commonly used to enhance flavor in a wide variety of dishes. I normally don't have sugar at all because I'm very scared of getting hold of diabetes or something of that sort. But in any case, it makes no difference to me. But I can have a cold drink, a Coke or some other drink as such. I don't have alcohol as such. But obviously, the appeal of sweet foods is not just cultural, but also biological. The human body is naturally drawn to sugar because it provides a quick source of energy. Historically, this preference helped early humans identify safe and nutritious food in the wild. So, like as a child, I used to climb up the mulberry tree and pinch my brother also at the same time while he was climbing up. But we used to enjoy the sweetness of the mulberry fruit. I just picked up some the other day from the supermarket, and that is what brought my thoughts back to those times. So, sweetness continues to play an important role in all celebrations, especially in Pakistan, and all traditions also around the world, I think. But here, of course, we have sweet meats, as you call it. And in the rest of the world, cakes, candies, and pastries are often associated with birthdays, weddings, and festivals, which symbolize joy and togetherness. Sweet dishes, or puddings, as we call them in England, also vary widely across cultures, reflecting local ingredients and culinary creativity. For example, some cultures favor rich, creamy desserts, while others prefer lighter, fruit based sweets. Now, beyond the idea of food, I think the concept of sweet extends into language and emotion as expressed by Leslie also. It is often used to describe kindness, affection, and pleasant experiences. A sweet gesture, a sweet memory, or a sweet person all evoke feelings of warmth and positivity. This metaphorical use highlights how deeply sweetness is embedded in human perception and expression. So, to conclude, I would say that sweetness is more than just a taste, it's a significant part of human biology, culture, and emotional life. While it should be enjoyed in moderation for the sake of health, its role in bringing happiness and connection remains undeniable. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ash. Leslie, do you think that our approach or our feeling towards sweet is changing with the age?
Michael, skip over me right now. I'm having heart palpitations.
I will. Charito, the same question for you. So, do you think that with the age is changing our way how we look or how we approach the sweet?
Yes, I think so. I think so. Because when you grow older, the resistance and your body is attuned to a lot of diseases. So when the doctor says you have to keep off the sugary things, then you have to think twice because before you buy something with sugar or something like that. Because with all the diseases around, especially when cancer is around, it's almost proliferating around the world, even in my country, even the diabetes and all that. So, and it usually strikes somebody who is already in golden age, or as your age grows higher. So I think so. It is. Yes, it is, Michael. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Charito. Dr. Ash, you describe a lot of things associated with sweet. So, do you think sweet is addictive?
Yes, I do believe so. And it's like some people who are on to alcohol or drugs, they just can't get off them somehow. And therefore, I was also very fond of sugar. And I was fond of smoking also. So that's an addiction. And but luckily, I have a very strong willpower. And I decided I hate being told no by somebody. I guess I was told often enough and disciplined at home as a child. So therefore, I didn't like the army discipline, so that is why I left the army. But obviously, you see, sweets are very addictive. I got rid of smoking because of not being told by a doctor not to smoke any longer. So a bit of a device to Leslie: just take deep breaths and try not to think too much, and you will feel better so far as your heart palpitations are concerned. Now, sweets are very addictive in the sense that they have a special kind of magic that keeps people coming back for more, even when they know they've had enough. From rich chocolate desserts to syrup soaked pastries, these treats trigger pleasure in both the mind and body. The combination of sugar, fat, and texture creates a sensory experience that is very hard to resist. Each bite delivers a burst of sweetness that can instantly lift mood and provide comfort. Now, one reason that sweets are so addictive is the way sugar interacts with the brain. It stimulates the release of a substance called dopamine. Now, this is a chemical that's associated with pleasure and reward. This reaction encourages repeated consumption, making it easy to crave desserts long after the first taste. So, obviously, over time, people may develop habits around certain sweets, turning them into a daily indulgence or emotional comforts. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ash. Leslie, when you will be ready, just
I'm ready.
all
Thank you,
right.
Dr. Ash. I was doing exactly what you said when you said it.
Great, thank you.
That's a great connection. And I will call it a sweet connection. And Leslie, this will be the question for you. How to imagine sweet connection?
Sweet connection. I would say probably that is very much like the relationship I have with Charito. It's always sweet. It's always positive. It's always loving. We're always doing for each other. There's a sinking of vibration. And it's, I guess, if I look at this, Charito is one of the people that never judges me. Never. I always feel like whatever it is that's coming up for me, she embraces it. And perhaps that is a factor that, for me, creates a sweet connection. um, if there's a trusting there, there's like an unconditional love, but there's no effort. It takes no effort between Charito and myself, right? For me, this is how it shows up for me. So I'm guessing, thank you, you guys. It usually doesn't take long for me to stop them, and they're very rare, the palpitations now, because I have the proper meds. But anyway, so I'm okay with not having a lot of connections that are sweet, but they're the ones that take no effort. They're constant, and it's like an unconditional love. I do want to say just a little bit about the addiction of sugar, if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
I discovered that my relationship with food or with sweets personally, when I'm in a place of being unable to control or having an automatic desire to eat something without thinking about it, that this is a very strong hold, and it all begins with, I believe, one of our 6 basic fears, that when we enter a relationship with any kind of any addiction, it could be even with a person, when that happens, it's based on perhaps not belonging, perhaps loss of a love, because the relationship between food or any addiction, I'm going to say, they're all the same. It's replacing something that we fear we've lost. That's one of the 6 basic fear, which is loss of love, and somehow filling it fulfills that need for love and belonging, um, without complaining. So I've likened my relationship with money and with food very often to my relationship with my ex-husband. Most of the time things are going good, but then there becomes time where things aren't good. And there were arguments. Now, mostly it was good things, but I did this experience at a big convention, and I think you might like this. And I'll hurry up since there's only 3 of us. I'll go faster. But we had to do paired sharing. That's when 2 people get together and they're given a quest, right? And then they play that out. And the quest in this conference between myself and the person sitting next to me, big round tables of 8 people, so there were pairs, is talk to money. So I began to speak to the other person as though it was money. And when I discovered what was coming out of my mouth were the same things I felt about my ex-husband. Where are you? You've betrayed me. I've done everything that I was supposed to do, and you've disappeared. The laws of the universe said that I should be generating revenue because I'm doing all the right things, and yet you're not giving back. And in that moment, I had a big epiphany about our relationship. And I think the fears, personally for me, it's the fear of not being heard, not being loved, not being considered. But you'll notice that my relationship with food, it never says that's too much, Leslie. It's like Chorito. it becomes a sweet connection, no pun intended, although my nature is to have funny, sarcastic things to say too, is that this is all from fears. One of the 6 basic fears, and this one I believe is the loss of love. The others are fear of criticism, fear of poverty, fear of illness, fear of old age, and fear of death. But the fear of loss of love seems to require a filling in of what feels like an empty space. And it's all based on what we're thinking. So that's enough for me. Thank you both for your kind words. And I love deep breathing. It works like a champ. It resets my vagus nerve. So thank you all. And Michael.
Thank you very much, Leslie. I just heard during the discussion that every single one of us mentioned the term fear in connection to sweet. And it came to my mind, and that will be the question for you, Charito. Do you think that sweet can help us to overcome the fear?
Wow, that's very deep. But first, I would like to say to Leslie that I am touched by your words, dear. And I really admire you. You know, we are friends, and I listen to you, even if I'm not around always because I have personal, activities too. But I look up to you as a sister, a little older than me, but I think we have the same. But and I admire the knowledge that you impart to all of us. I learned a lot from it. You may not know it, but I am doing it. Like even Dr. Ash, even Michael, I listen to you, and I may not be answering. I don't have the prowess to talk like you people here, but I put that in my heart, and I know deep within, and I can always pull it out anytime, whenever I need those to guide me as a human being. So back to the fear that you're saying, Michael. You say I. They said that when you have problems, you eat a lot of sweet food, and you want to do something you don't. It did not happen to me because I don't know. It's the discipline. Maybe yes, the fear of getting diabetes, fear of getting sick, fear of dying because of that. So I discipline myself. I never eat more than what is needed in my body. But when I'm down, I'm so low. Sweets has nothing to do with it. I know what time I eat, what time I sleep, I work. I usually I have visitors there. Usually how do you say that? I arrange them accordingly because when I pray every day, I said that, Lord, help me do this and do that. They said that God hears you if you help yourself. Don't leave it to God. You don't want to get sick. Be wary of yourself. Be health minded. Be health conscious. And you have problem about money, work. If you have problem about love or whatever, then move around. Maybe someday you'll meet someone also. Because I'm separated for 16 years already. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Charito. And before I forget, so let me tell you that next week we will skip again because I will be on the way on a conference. I will try to mention it at the end of the event as well, but please try to remember. Dr. Ash, I know that there are going to be negotiations regarding the war, especially the newest war. And war is fear. And the question is, can sweet in some form play important role in ending the wars? Because I think that peace is sweet, isn't it?
Absolutely, I think so too. Um, You'll be surprised as to how things work out when we talk. War is often imagined as a stage for bravery and glory. I've been through it. I know how it feels. Anybody who says he's not scared of a war, I think is talking nonsense. Because in reality, it is deeply rooted in that word that you've mentioned, fear. Fear drives nations to conflict. Fear of losing power, land, identity, or even security. Soldiers on the battlefield where I've been are not untouched heroes. They are human beings confronting intense fear every moment. This fear, however, can sometimes create a strange and dangerous illusion, making war seem like a sweet play, the way you mention it, to those far removed from its harsh realities. Now, these peace talks that are going to take place in Islamabad, Pakistan is hitting the headlines all over the world. And you'll be surprised that, as I keep mentioning to people all the time, that it's always the sweet magic, should I say, of diplomacy that works. Talks, talks, talks. You see, there are leaders who try and excel too much, and therefore, like, if we have sweet talks rather than harsh talks, that is what works out fine. So, like, you'll be surprised to know that President Xi has actually played a major role in helping out in these talks that are going to take place in Islamabad. And uh, great names are coming out as to who all are attending. So you'll be surprised, big people are coming for these meetings. And hopefully, let's pray. Let's all pray. Let's not get any fear into ourselves, into our brains. Let's be positive. It'll all work out fine, absolutely. Hopefully, because I think once is enough. They say once bitten, twice shy. And I believe that peace will prevail, hopefully, even though there are a lot of negative elements in the world. But don't forget, people like us are very positive when we talk about love and we talk about the sweetness of people. I agree with Sharito and I agree with Leslie. And Michael, you are a wonderful person yourself, I believe, to have us all together every Wednesday. We'll miss you next Wednesday, of course. But yes, thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ash. I have to add that next Wednesday, I will be on the way to the conference together with Jane. She is attending her first conference in her life. She was never on a conference. And I have the honor to speak to finish the conference. So I'm really looking forward to be with her. But we spoke about food, and sweet can be pretended. And so can be the sweet face can pretend a evil person. So is there anything, Leslie, what you think can help us to recognize the pretended sweet in the people or businesses or anywhere else in the food?
Yeah, that would be your intuition. If you do a lot of mindset work, your intuition is one of your conscious intellectual faculties that can be developed like any other muscle through its use and the frequency and consistency of its use. So you can ask me that again, please.
If we can recognize or prevent when we meet someone who is pretending or what is pretending sweet, how can we recognize that?
It would be a sensing. But I'll be honest with you, I have been fooled many times by people that I didn't have an intuitive feeling. And that intuitive feeling, you have to be in touch with yourself. You have to have done a certain amount of work to understand that we are cause and the matter of all of our results. And we're 100% responsible for our results. Even if we don't understand why or how, there's a certain inner strength. And by the way, the 6 intellectual faculties are perspective, imagination, intuition, memory, reason, and will, or willpower. And Dr. Ash mentioned that. So those are the combatants with the 6 basic fears. That is the fight between good and evil, angel and devil. That's the law of polarity. And with war, both peace and war are occurring simultaneously. So there always has to be both. And it is the fear of death. Yes. War is like, we don't want to die, right? That's a basic fear. And it's real because we've experienced people dying, right? We know some things about it. So you would have to understand yourself quite well to be able to tune in or sense when someone isn't being honest or truthful. Now, look, they don't know. I mean, they do know, but let's put it this way, they're not ready or willing to be responsible for what they're thinking. You can't do it all the time, but you can aspire to think the opposite of war, which is we talk about peace. They should really be peace talks and war talks, right? That doesn't feel right to me. Anyway, I'll end it there. I kind of went off a little bit. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Leslie. Charita, I have a very special question for you related to your real estate business and experience. Do you think there exists anything what you can tell it's the sweet spot? This is exactly what it's common for all what you have done. So the sweet spot in a real estate. Is it the location? Is it the sunshine? What is it?
Well, sweet spot. For me, Michael, in real estate, to be honest, a salesperson, or anybody selling real estate cannot sweet talk its way to sales because people are looking at the facts. How do you say it's a place when you are going to that place actually? So you don't make sweet talks or sweet promises. When, like, say a swimming pool will be placed here, when on the map on the design there is no swimming pool. It's like you're buttering up the seller, the prospect, just so you will be able to make a sale. I don't think that's sweet talk. That will matter because real estate is a physical thing. You look at it, even from the construction, from the site, and all those things. Now, the sweet talk, sweet spot, probably, I should say, is this. If there is a client which is far away from you, and you have to do the initial, and everything that is being asked for is delivered, and everything that you said to them actually that will happen really happens. That's the sweetest part of it, because when that client come into full view of what she's buying, and she says that everything is in place, there is honesty. Honesty is a sweet spot for salespersons. And so this person who bought from you, when she comes around, she will use it as an advertisement to other people in that place where she came from. So it becomes a word of mouth. You don't have to advertise because the sweet spot in your business is you say what is the truth and you deliver. So in that case, it would be very sweet when you're in real estate. You say what is right, deliver what is true, and don't promise anything that is not there. Don't promise anything that you are not sure. Just say the facts. Because after all, it's a physical thing that they're buying, not the promise. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you very much. And just to say, we have 4 minutes left. And so the last question will be for you, Dr. Ash. Isn't this exactly what was described right now by Charito? Isn't it the sweet spot of negotiations which will take place?
Yes, absolutely. Because I think honesty is the best policy. You have to be like Sharito has just mentioned. If you can be honest, frankly speaking, Sharito, I would give you full credit because I have yet to meet an honest property agent in Pakistan, at least. They're schemers, they have robbed me of a lot of money. But I would like to be handled by a person like you, frankly. I recognize people the way they talk, but sometimes you can be fooled, of course. And in these particular peace talks, I do believe that if there is a lot of truth in it, and I have uh, a lot more faith now that I've heard that JD Vance is coming in to flying into Pakistan, because I do believe that he has disagreed with Trump on many issues so far as this war was concerned, and he did say it shouldn't happen, and that is where it has all gone wrong. And I think if the truths are put on the table as to where your strengths lie and where your weaknesses lie, that is the best thing in diplomacy, to just tell people exactly where you stand. And that's a win win situation so far as I'm concerned. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much. And thank you all. We have 2 minutes left. So let me use the time to say again that we unfortunately will not be able to meet next week, but this means we will look more to the sweet, to meet in a sweet talks the week after. Because sometime when we cannot reach the sweet things which are so tasty, then we would like to have them more. But at the same time, sweets can be used to train ourselves. One of my teachers says, it is easy to resist sweet which is not on the table. But put the chocolate on the table and resist. Only this make you strong. And this is what I do. This is what we do. We put one word on a table and we do a lot of around, turning it into a jewel, into a diamond, every single one. So let me wish you have a nice time, free of waste and wasting in all its forms. Stay safe, be free, be human, and be the sweet of the loved ones and of those who are looking for support and for happiness. And see you in 14 days. Thanks a lot and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Where are you going, Michael?
I'm going to a city called Ostrava, which is north in the country. And
So
it's already 9th conference of the same organizer in generally 11 years. And on every single one, I deliver a keynote speech. So I'm really
Wow.
happy to be the people there.
That's
Safe
wonderful.
travels. Michael. Look after yourself.
I
See you
will.
in 2 weeks.
I will. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
God bless all of you all.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye, Dr. Ash, Leslie.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
sister.
Bye-bye.